Welcome to another episode of the best laptop setups. This is episode number 10. I can't believe how fast we've gone through them. I just want to say thank you guys for liking and subscribing. Please continue to do so because the series is doing very well because of you, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Stefan, you won from episode number 9. You're getting $75, so watch out for that email. I'll send that to you shortly. And I just want to give a big thanks to Bellroy for sponsoring this portion of the video. They have this iPhone 12 or 12 Pro phone case that's made out of this Eco-Tan leather. It's very durable considering it's super thick. It feels nice to the touch, but you also have a storage place for 3 cards. This little flap also acts as a kickstand so you can place it on a table and watch content. If you're interested in checking this out, they're giving you guys 10% off, so I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. The first setup comes from Flatlander Tech. He's a YouTuber based in the UK, and I thought this was a very interesting setup. He basically took the time, sketched it out, did most of the stuff himself. He sanded his own desk, he installed it. He basically had a vision and he made it into a reality. And I just love how everything floats off the desk or off to the side, allowing you to have a full visual experience instead of keeping things there when you don't need it. So he has a microphone attached to a side beam that he can move in and out when he doesn't need it instead of like having it clamped to the desk. I love that he has tons of computers. I don't know what he's using all those computers for because he has this iMac on the top, which he like jerry-rigged into the monitor arm to keep its position, and then he has this big widescreen monitor below it. But then off to the right he has like a custom PC build, and then on the left side he has a MacBook Pro. I'm kind of wondering if the iMac and the MacBook Pro are kind of redundant, like wouldn't one be more than enough? But who am I to judge what Flatlander does? Now, the cool thing is he was able to make the MacBook Pro float. He placed the monitor arm behind the monitor so it looks like it's part of the entire setup instead of leaving it off to the side and making it look more cluttered. The speakers are floating as well in the air. I think they look really cool. I love the wood trimming around the speakers. They match up to the wood beams on the left and right hand side, and even the desk is sort of floating because it's like drilled into the sides and back of the wall. He places a little bit of lighting on the back to give it a glowing effect, which I think just warms up and gives the setup its own unique vibe. And then he has a switcher, a Ugreen switcher, that allows him to switch between his desktop PC and one of his Macs. One of his biggest concerns was that he thought the switcher might, offer some input lag if he's gaming. He's probably right, but he's obviously not trying to be the next big Twitch streamer, so it's more than adequate for the type of stuff he does. I just love how he has his microphone clamped to the beam. I love the fact that he has a camera hidden in the back in case he needs to do some sort of streaming or conference call. It actually looks like a Canon camera, which I think is pretty cool. And then he has this nice but nonchalant desktop PC. There's not like any crazy RGB going on, that just chills there. It looks like he's using a SteelSeries headset. He has a HyperX alloy mechanical keyboard, which feels fantastic to type on. And then he has the classic G703 Logitech Lightspeed wireless gaming mouse, which is fantastic for gaming and pretty much everything else. Overall, I'm really impressed with this setup. I love the way it looks. Great work, Flatlander. The second setup comes from David Zhang, who happens to be a fellow Canadian. I've stumbled upon some of his desk setups in the past, and for the most part, he does a fantastic job. His most recent one, though, I'm not the biggest fan of. I feel like he's just adding way too much stuff into his setup, and it's starting to feel a bit too claustrophobic. Like, I get it. Some people love to have that LG 48-inch OLED TV as a main display, and that's great. But the problem is there's just so much stuff on the desk now, and it's just feeling a bit too cramped. Like, what's the point of having your XPS laptop hang on a monitor arm? It looks like it's gonna fall off, and if you bring it in, it just feels too cramped. Like, do you honestly need that 15-inch or 13-inch display when you already have this massive 48-inch display in front of you? Why not take the laptop and place it underneath the desk on a laptop tray? This would give more space on the desk to utilize, and it wouldn't be so much of an eyesore. I love the speaker placements. I love the pads that they're hanging on. He managed to include a preamp on top of it, a little bit of plant life to the left. It looks like he's using the Logitech G915 TKL wireless mechanical keyboard. I'm not a fan of this keyboard. I feel like the keys are way too squishy, but a lot of people love it, and the response time for gaming is still fantastic. The Logitech G305 mouse is a classic. I personally have one too, and it's a fantastic travel mouse. And his unit beside his desk is an IKEA Besta unit and shelves. Now, this is one thing that kind of irks me. Like, he used to have the PC on the right side of the desk on the floor, but now he stuffed it inside of a cabinet. Like, why? That's a beautiful case. That's the NZXT Elite case. That thing is gorgeous, and it's like sticking out of the cabinet now. It just doesn't look great. And of course, he has a couple of other knickknacks inside of there that all pertain to his setup. I do love his cable management. It's nice and neat. He even has a nice cable tie around the main cords that are going into the outlet. And of course, he's using that standing desk so that he doesn't always have to sit for the entire day. Honestly, this is all starting to feel a bit too much. If I was David, I would go back to this older setup of his. I think this is his best one to date, and it just looks absolutely awesome. The third setup comes from Canoopsy, who's also a fellow Canadian and a personal friend to the channel. And look, what's there to say about this, right? It's a beautiful, clean, minimalistic setup. It's well organized. Instead of doing just simple white that most other YouTubers do, he added a few accent pieces that pertain to his style. Like, he's obsessed with yellow, and he has the yellow trim around the painting. He has a few knickknacks and books on the desk to show some of his favorite colors in this setup. Now, the thing that I like the most is the fact that he's using a laptop tray. I talk about this all the time in my laptop setup videos. Why have your laptop on your desk when you have a big, beautiful display? Put it on the laptop tray, put it underneath, it's out of the way, and it's gonna make your desk feel a lot more spacious. He has a few books to offer some character to the desk setup. He has a Google Hub, I think that's the Lenovo smart speaker on top of it, which he probably uses it for simple queries. He has a beautiful large mouse pad, which I believe is the Grove-made mouse pad. This is like a microfiber cloth. It's a very nice mouse pad. He's using an Apple keyboard with the Logitech MX Master mouse, which a lot of YouTubers swear by. Personally, I've never used it because I'm a lefty. And I just love the organization on the right. Like, he has this pegboard with some of his favorite iconic stuff, like the iPod. He has a floppy disk. I think Canoopsy's too young to even know what a floppy disk is, but it looks great. And a bunch of little knickknacks and pens and a personal 3D image of himself. The monitor is a huge flex. That's the XDR display from Apple on top of the $1,000 Apple stand. And he has this BenQ light bar on top, which a lot of people use. It's actually a very nice light if you need that extra brightness when you're working late at night. Now, the only thing I don't like about this setup, and he says because he mostly uses headphones, is the $20 speakers. Like, he's rocking probably, I don't know what, like a 10K setup here, and then he has like these $20 speakers hanging on the back of his monitor. He's like, I don't care about sound, okay? I don't need it. The last setup comes from SpawnPoint, and hands down, this is probably my favorite setup out of the bunch. Not only is it clean and minimalistic, it's also super warm with that oak tabletop. On top of it, it's just very inviting with the lighting in the background and the way he has everything organized. The desk is from Autonomous. It's a standing desk. I think it's about 60 inches wide. And he has everything mounted underneath it, so cable management is super clean. He has another shelf on top of it, which is by Grove-made. It's like a monitorizer. And then his monitor is mounted on a monitor arm. It's the 27-inch ultra-fine monitor from LG. It's this awesome 4K monitor, which is beautiful to look at. Now, I like the fact that the shelf covers the monitor arm, so it kind of gives the impression that it's floating. But the beauty about having a riser is you can hide stuff underneath it. So he has his MacBook Pro 16 underneath, so he doesn't need to put it anywhere else. And he has another space where he can store papers. He has this plant to the left to give it some greenery, a massive Grove-made microfiber mouse pad. He has the Logitech MX Keys keyboard with a Logitech MX Master mouse. I can't believe how popular this mouse is. But the chair is also from Autonomous. It's the Ergo chair, and I love his lighting. Like, he has this big Life X beam, which gives him some color in the background and just gives the setup a cool look. And then he has a major flex with that floating light bulb. That light bulb is like $400, which is insane, but I think looks really, really cool. There's a shelf on top to house other knickknacks and stuff. And overall, this is just a very beautiful, warm setup. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little interruption to the regular best laptop setups. Let me know which one is your favorite in the description down below. Also, a lot of my suggestions you might not agree with. A lot to do is with my own personal preference. But if you want anything you see in these videos, I'll link their YouTube videos so that you can use their affiliate links in the description down below as well. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.